Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Before we dive into the video, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon. Let's dive in. I didn't stumble into this. I walked right toward it because it felt good. It felt good to be noticed by someone who wasn't counting bills, chores, or duties. Hook. She had an affair, confessed after a photo, and kicked her husband out. Then she invited her lover to move in. What happened next destroyed her. It started with a glowing screen at 1 a.m. and a name that didn't belong to my husband. At first, I told myself it was harmless. The messages with my coworker looked innocent if you scrolled quickly. Memes, jokes about work, music suggestions. But that innocence was a mask. Behind it, I was feeling something real. Attention, excitement, that small pulse in my chest every time his typing dots appeared. Soon, I was turning my phone face down, slipping away to the bathroom to reply, clearing notifications. My husband noticed. He always notices. He asked who the guy was, and I said, just a work friend. When he wanted to meet him, I joked he'd probably glare at him the whole time. What I really meant was that my husband would see what I was pretending not to. He asked me to set boundaries. I promised I would. I didn't. We scheduled couples therapy for April. I booked my own therapist and used that as an excuse, convincing myself I was working on things. I wasn't. I was still messaging after midnight, chasing a spark I refused to look at too closely. I told myself I was stuck at work, at home, in life. Maybe that part was true. I was bored. But instead of saying that out loud at the kitchen table, I ran to the easiest distraction. Then came the group night out. I told myself it was fine because it was a group. Later, it was just him and me in my car under a streetlight. We kissed. I gave myself 3 seconds to feel the rush before I pulled back and called it a mistake. Like saying the word could erase what I'd already done. But I wasn't the woman who almost crossed a line. I already had. A friend sent my husband a photo from that night. Me and him standing too close. My husband called. I confessed the kiss and instantly tried to soften it. We realized it was wrong. We just talked after. That's my pattern. A little bit of truth padded with excuses. He told me to leave. So I left. Still narrating, still pretending I was giving him space, when really I was just running from the mess I had made. If you're someone like me, still hiding behind innocent messages, you already know. You know it by the way you tilt your phone when your partner walks by. You know it by the parts of your day you leave out when you talk to them. You know you're lying, even if the words look clean. Update. This is the ugliest stretch. When there's no fog left to blame, just me standing in wreckage I built. My husband came by to grab a few things. I'd moved back into the house, so he moved out. He said he couldn't stay. At the door, I said, "It's my house. Get out." The deed was in my name. The payments had been ours. Years of 50-50 before marriage. I used a piece of paper like a weapon because I felt exposed. He told a coworker what happened. And I cared more about my reputation than the man I broke. That was about control. I couldn't control his pain, so I controlled the lock. He left, stayed with a friend. Then he hired a lawyer. When I got the letter, I called him crying, asking if this was really over. I cried not because I'd suddenly realized what I'd done, but because something finally had consequences. And I hate admitting that because it means I only felt deeply when it was about me. 2 days later, I invited my affair partner to move in. I was still hoping for the easy path, the one that didn't require growing up. I wanted to be adored without being available. I told myself it was just messages, then just a kiss. As if my husband's heart would measure the betrayal by degree. It doesn't work that way. If you defend your affair partner to your spouse, you've already chosen your side, and I chose wrong. I wish I could say that's when I changed, but change came slower through shame and silence. I sat alone on my bed and said out loud, I did this. Not we had issues, not it was complicated, just I did this. I picture my husband calling his dad, needing someone safe because I wasn't anymore. I saw the look on his face that night, the one that said he didn't recognize me. I still see it. Hook. She ended the affair, reported it to HR, and gave her husband everything in the divorce. But one thing she said out loud changed her forever. Update 2. I'm not the victim in some tragic love story. I'm the one who started the fire. So, Here's what I've done and what I'll keep doing without expecting forgiveness. I sent a final message to my coworker copying HR. I engaged in an inappropriate relationship with you that harmed my marriage. I am ending all contact immediately. Do not contact me again. Any attempt will be documented and reported. I blocked him everywhere. Requested removal from shared projects. Told my manager the full truth. The messages, the kiss, the fallout. Whatever happens next, I'll accept it. My husband doesn't need to police my job. I wrote a timeline. Every moment, every lie, the first message, the first time I hid my phone, the kiss, the photo, the night I walked past my husband standing on the sidewalk. It's all there. My therapist has it if my husband ever wants it. It says, I apologize for turning our home into a battlefield. Told my lawyer pursue a fair split. No power games, no delays. I offered to cover his short-term housing until it's settled. If he wants to sell, I'll sign. If he wants to buy me out, I'll cooperate. I forfeited my right to drag this through the mud. If he wants divorce, I'll let it happen without using the process to score one last win. If he wants silence, I'll stop sending those late-night, "Are you okay?" texts that were more about soothing my guilt than helping him. He hasn't replied. I don't blame him. I know none of this erases what I did. The kiss, the lies, the sight of me walking away while another man smiled behind me. Those will live in his memory forever. If he files, that date will sit beside our wedding date in my mind. A matching set that tells the full story of who I was. I can't undo any of it, but I can stop adding to it. If someone out there is where I once was, still pretending your messages are harmless, this is your mirror. You already feel the shift. You already know it isn't innocent. You can stop now, tell your partner, tell your boss, burn the channel down, sit in the shame, do the boring repair work, or you can keep going. And one day you'll stand where I did, watching a person who loved you look at you like a stranger, while the man who helped ruin it all stands behind you smiling. I don't know if I'll ever be welcomed back in the life I destroyed. But I'm done calling it a mistake. It wasn't one mistake. It was hundreds of small ones that I kept choosing. So, I'm choosing differently now. Even if it's too late to rebuild what I burned, I can become someone safe. Even if it's only for a future I don't recognize. It's not redemption. It's the bill. And I'll keep paying it whether anyone's watching or not.